Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. In today's class, we're going to cover some recent requests for word of the day and look at a few patterns for American English pronunciation to help you out. So the first request I want to look at was for the word bathed, and we're going to look at bath and bathe and a pattern here for these words. Then we'll look at how to do the word bathed and why it's challenging. So when we look at the difference between bath and bathe, even though we have the letters th in both words, in the word bath, we have what's called the voiceless th. So when I say bath or breath or think or with, my tongue is between my teeth, the air is flowing, it's that th sound, but there's no vibration in my throat. So I have, it's called voiceless, like s and f, other sounds that don't have any voicing, where I don't have to turn my voice on. So when I say bath, there's just noisy air that comes out. Versus when I say bathe, this th is a voiced th, and it's the same th sound we have in words like them, there, that. Same mouth position, but my voice is on. Another difference between bath and bathe is that in bath, we have the black cat vowel. It's the lax front vowel, black cat. So you can try, for example, had a bath, had and bath both have this a vowel. In bathe, the letter A is the a diphthong. So it's more like the word bay or bade. So we could try say, bathe, or day, bathe. That can help you get that vowel sound. And then I have my th sound. So when I'm using the past tense, bathed, the challenge is I have to do this voiced th right into a D sound. So that can be a little bit challenging. And it also looks like the spelling would be something that would sound more like bathed because there's that E there. So in the pronunciation, we have bathed. So we go right to the D from the TH sound. So thinking about that like bathed. It's challenging to go right from that voice TH to the D. So one thing that can help is saying something like, for example, bathed in water, bathed in. That ends up being more like bathe din, where as I'm linking that, I can put my D on the next word. It's easier then to say bathed in than just to say bathed by itself. So that's how we do the target word bathed. The same pattern happens for some other nouns and verbs with the TH sound. So for example, breath has a voiceless TH, and it also has the red tent vowel, versus breathe, this EA is the E sound, so it sounds like a tense E, and this is a voiced TH, breathe. And then if I were to say breathed, I would have the same pattern, and I could try breathed in, breathed it, etc., to make it a little bit easier to go from that voiced TH to the D. It's pretty uncommon to have the voiced TH at the ends of words. It's much more common at the beginning and in the middle. It's in words like them, their, other, etc. It's only at the end in a few words like bathe, breathe, mouth, teeth. These are less commonly used words. So I would say breathe is probably one of the more common words that has the voiced TH at the end. Other than that, you're mostly looking at voiceless TH at the end, like breath, bath, path, with, etc. Although the word with, some people pronounce that with a voiceless th, like I do, with, without. Many people also pronounce that with a voiced th, with them, without, within. So either one is an acceptable, correct pronunciation for that sound. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover for that word bathed. I felt that giving you a longer lesson that looked at some patterns there would be helpful. TH is definitely one of the more challenging sounds for non-native speakers. And in a lot of cases, if I don't say my TH sound correctly, it may not matter so much for being understood, but it is very common in many, many words. So a lot of times people feel that it's a good one to work on to reduce the impact of your accent, since we have so many common words that have that TH sound. You can get more help on specifics for making that TH sound on my American TH playlist, as well as in our Sounds of English course, where we talk about each sound of American English, how to pronounce it, what accent error patterns you might have, and what words it's in. That's on speechmodification.com, and that online course is under $2. All of our courses now are either free or under $2 to be accessible to more people, to give you more resources to help you. We have a question about month. Yes, month is also a voiceless sound at the end. So like the months of the year. Great. So a couple other, you can ask questions now for a little bit. I also want to cover a few other recent requests. So let's look at, we have had a request for the phrase, while I am at it. So let's look at that. So pronouncing the phrase, while I am at it, I'm typically not going to say that word by word. I wouldn't say while I am at it. You can hear how that doesn't sound very fluent or very natural. We tend to link and reduce sounds in this in all phrases in English. So the first thing that I'm going to point out is that I would reduce I am to, I would change that to I'm while I'm at it. Just because typically people will naturally say I'm, use a contraction rather than I am, unless I'm going to stress the I'm. I am doing that. If the am is stressed, which is a less common pattern, then I'll say the full word. Otherwise, I'm going to say I'm every time. So when I go from while to I, while I'm at it, I'm going to link that L sound. So this I is the diphthong I. You can actually think about it like why, while. Sometimes I just recently talked about the word while, and I pointed out that while it's one syllable, it can be helpful to slow it down and think of that yah sound in the middle, while. So I'll rewrite it that way. While I'm, you can also think about the L in while, because it connects with the I in I'm. You can think about, there's not really a break here, but it might be easier and smoother to say while I'm. So thinking about the word lime, while I'm, and then we link the M to the at, while I'm at. So lime at, and then we link the at to the it, and this T changes to a flap, which is more like a D sound. So even though the where we break for the words, while I am at it, when we're saying it, it's more like while I'm at it. And the length is here. So the while I'm and the it are very short, while I'm at it. While I'm at it, I'll talk about the pronunciation of the phrase. While I'm at it, I might as well do that. So rewriting it this way is not necessary, but it might be a way of fooling your brain to see how the words connect, what the sounds really are, and what it sounds like in fluent speech, rather than thinking about it word by word, which is not necessarily going to help your pronunciation or your fluency. Okay, so that was a great request. Thank you for requesting while I'm at it. I hope that this is a way that you can practice and get that smoothly and easily in your speech. We have a question about how to know if an E is short or long. So I typically don't use short and long because I think it's kind of confusing. So it's often taught that way. People will say long E for the E sound in me, and they'll say short E for the sound in red. I prefer to think about this based on the sounds, that we have the tense E and the lax eh sound. Looking at the vowels, we have E up here is high in front and eh is mid and central. At any rate, your question is still valid. How do I know what letter E is going to say? Most of the time, when the letter E is in a stressed, if it's the only vowel in the word or if it's in a stressed position, I think it's about 80% of the time, it's going to be the eh, which you called the short E, the red tent vowel. And then there are some words like me and we where it's going to be an E sound, and there are a few other exceptions. The best way to know is to practice on whichever sounds you struggle with pronouncing. Learn the most common words that have that sound, regardless of how they're spelled, so that you feel very confident that you can hear the difference between those sounds. If you're encountering a new word and you want to know how to pronounce the E, I suggest using an online dictionary and looking for the symbols. These are the IPA symbols, International Phonetic Alphabet, and that's what I use in my videos and in my courses. It's also in some dictionaries, but you might have to look at the pronunciation guide for the dictionary to know which vowel symbols they use for the different vowel sounds. Thank you. That's a good question. I see I missed one question as well. We had a request or a question about how to say does that smoothly. Yeah, that can be challenging because we have to go from the Z sound of does to the TH sound of that. So thinking about it, first of all, I would rewrite it with something that makes more sense for the sounds. So we have a schwa here and a Z sound, does that. And then we have the black cat vowel. So the transition from the Z to the V is basically that when I say does that, my tongue for the Z is behind my teeth and my voice is on. And then it just needs to move forward enough to be between my teeth to make the sound. I don't have to necessarily say does that with a break. And I also may, if I normally would say, for example, if I was just saying it does with the Z sound, my tongue can kind of be anywhere as long as it's behind my teeth, up, down. For me, my tongue tip is down, it does. But if I'm saying does that, my tongue tip is a little higher so that it's ready to go right between my teeth. Does that hurt? Does that help? So keeping that flow going, keeping your voice on and having your tongue ready to just move forward. It takes practice. You can try doing other combinations like was that, was there, is that, is there. Use those common words like does, was, is, goes, and them, there, they, etc. Try that combination, moving from the Z to the TH in a lot of different places, and you'll find that it becomes smoother with time, even though it can be challenging. Thank you. That's a good question. We have a question from Robbie about the word rifle. So rifle has first syllable stress. It sounds like the I diphthong, so like the word I or this word I, both the same. And then the full is syllabic L, so there's a little short schwa before the L. So building from the back, ul, full, rifle. What you really want to think about is that I have this ri syllable that's long, and my full syllable is very short, almost no vowel in it, rifle. Great. It's so great to see you. I am glad that helped with the Z-TH transition. That's definitely a challenging one that I've been helping with people with lately. So let's talk about a couple other words that have come in requests. If you have requests for our Word of the Day series, you can always leave them in the comments for any of our videos. And we do have our live question and answer class on Fridays where you can come and ask your questions about specific words or pronunciations as well. So let's see. We had a request for the word physical. So let's look at that one. Physical part of the issue with this word is the spelling doesn't make it very clear what's what. So let's look at the IPA symbols and the stress pattern, and then we'll rewrite it in a way that might make more sense to your brain for spelling. So physical has first syllable stress. Letters PH say the f sound, like letter F. This letter Y is the lax I sound, like in did and different, looks like this. And then we have letter S saying Z in physical. So phys. This letter I can either be an I or a schwa. It's just a very reduced vowel sound. I'm going to put it as a schwa, like phys, physical. And then this letter C stands in for the K, the K sound. And we have basically almost no vowel or a schwa for the letter A because we have our dark syllabic L at the end, kul. Just like we were talking about in rifle, physical, same dark L at the end. So rewriting that, you might think phys, that's my long syllable, and then phys, kul, physical. Yeah, you can get help for that dark L. I do have a video that teaches you how to say L at the ends of words. That's here on Speech Modification Seattle. Or you can also check out our website, speechmodification.com. There's a lot of free lessons there, as well as I mentioned earlier, our Sounds of English course that will walk you through all of the different sounds, especially some of those challenging ones like the dark L at the ends of words. Great. Okay, we have a question about the difference between B and V. This is our topic right now in our Sounds of English challenge that we're doing for our channel members. So for the channel members, I'm going through all of the different sounds of English with some live classes, and they release each week. If you're interested in channel membership, you can click the join button and check out the options. And so we're just going to be talking about this in this week's challenge class for members. The B sound is made with the lips. So if I'm saying a word like berry or boy, let's do boy, I have to put my lips together, block the air, and then release. Boy. If I'm doing the V sound, it's the air continues. So the B sound stops, and it's made with lips only. The V sound, v, is made with my upper teeth and my lower lip. So teeth plus lip, and the sound continues. V. So in Spanish, we have voy. The Spanish B and V are kind of one sound. So that's, let's use the English word voyage, where we would use a clear American V sound. To get the V sound, what I recommend is trying first to do the F sound, because for most people, that one's not as much of a challenge. For Korean speakers, the F is also, sometimes they have trouble between F and P. It's the same pattern where P is lips, F is lip and teeth. But for many people, they can do the F sound. Then you just turn on your voice to make a V sound. V. Other people struggle with the V where going between V and W, and I have a video to help you with that. But what you want to look at with V is that V, you have to have enough space, or there needs to be contact so you get that vibration, but there needs to be an airflow. That sound needs to be able to continue. So you can also try berry versus very. I do have a video about the words bowel and vowel, because those are problematic for a lot of people. They want to make sure they're making those easily and distinct from one another. And in that video, I go through in a lot of detail the B and V sounds, the B and V. Thank you. Okay. We have a request, or let's see, some words that contain both short and long E. Yes, well, so here's the thing. Again, if I have a word like between, this is what you call long E. This is actually letter E says I, the I sound, between. If you're looking for a word that has and E, yes, certainly there's going to be words that have that. Nothing comes to mind immediately. But longer words in multiple syllables can easily have both of these sounds in it. So letters stand in for lots of different vowel sounds. Yes. We have a question about the word bin. This is a good one to look at because many people tend to mispronounce it as the same as bean, which has the tense E sound. In American English, we say bin, just like this word bin, like garbage bin, and we use the lax I sound. I've been busy. It's been happening. The bin has been out at the curb. Bean is a more British English pronunciation. Other dialects of English may use the tense E. We use the lax I sound. So what I suggest in order to match and remember that is try making sure you use the same vowel in it and been. For example, it's been. Another phrase I like, it's been busy. This also has the I in the first syllable. It's been busy. Yes, thank you for that question. Someone has said the word indeed. Please let me know if you're asking about how to pronounce indeed or if you're just commenting, and I can cover that word if you're asking. We had a request or a question about this viewer saying they have trouble saying, how do you usually? Yeah, that is hard. How do you usually? So how do you usually say it? How do you usually? So what's tough here is we have kind of repetitive vowels of oo and u, and you may be struggling with going back and forth between those. So thinking about, for one thing, how I would usually say this, how do you usually, is that rather than how do with, if I'm just saying I do, I'm going to use that oo vowel. In this phrase, though, I'm going to change it and reduce that do to more of a duh. How do ya? So I could say how do you, if I'm really wanting to stress the you, then I'm going to use a clear you as well. So if I'm saying do you, I might use the clear vowel. I think a lot of native speakers might change how do you to how do ya. So that oo gets reduced to the schwa. How do you usually? And then in the usually, I'm going to, because that is stressed, I'm going to keep that clear you, that clear vowel and the clear u sound. So how do you let's do the oo this way. Usually. Yeah, okay, I'm going to leave that out too. Usually. So for usually, thinking about that as you, we have the voiced ZH sound, the zh. It's like the SH, but my voice is on. Usually. So I can say usually with an oo there, but I think usually is easier and smoother. How do you usually say it? How do you usually do it? So the you can be a ya or a you. Usually, I would build from the back. Usually, you usually, do you usually, how do you usually? That's a good one. Really quite a mouthful because of all those oohs and yous and yas together and the reductions. Great. Hi, Dana. Nice to see you. She's wondering whether I use O, U, or O on the words brooch, bouquet, boutique. Okay, so I think I use brooch rather than brooch. But I do use bouquet. No, I probably use bouquet too. Bouquet. I think I might use bouquet or bouquet. And then for boutique, for some reason, I definitely think I use boutique instead of boutique. Boutique doesn't sound right to me. But brooch with an O, bouquet, I probably use bouquet more often than bouquet, and then boutique rather than boutique. Yeah, Dana's always checking for what I do for some of these things that have multiple pronunciations and different regional pronunciations. And mine is just influence from growing up as a Midwesterner and spending most of my adult life here on the West Coast in Seattle. Okay. So we have a question about ah and dad and dead. So we covered this in a lot of detail in yesterday's class. So if you want to go back and look at past live streams, I was talking about land and lend, and you'll see that in the thumbnail. I'll briefly talk about the ah versus for you today as well, but you can get more examples and more details there. So ah is more open, is more central. I have 3 lax front vowels, like did. I'll say it with my mouth this way so you can see. Like did, like dead, like dad. My jaw is just a little more open and my tongue is lower for each one. Dead is the and dad is the For all of these, when you're trying to compare, use another word to match. So for example, I would do that, dad. So I can feel the openness for both vowels versus said, dead, or read, dead, matching. Get, dead, keeping that vowel consistent between the two. You might find dad and dead really hard to do the contrast with those two, but that dad you can match. Get, dead. You're not going to have trouble between that and get, most likely, because they're not minimal pairs. Okay, great. I'll take a couple more quick questions and then we need to wrap up for today. It's so nice to see so many of you here again live today. It's been fun doing a few of these bonus classes. I do this class regularly, a live question and answer class on Fridays at 12 o'clock Seattle time, 3 o'clock Eastern time. So I hope you'll be able to join me this Friday for that as well. And we had a question about another challenging combination, the other people, the other ones. Okay, so for the other, one thing that we do is we change, when we have the word the, most of the time we use a schwa. It sounds like the. I actually even do it in the other, but technically, officially, when we have a vowel, like in other, we tend to use the E pronunciation for the other, because it's easier to go from the E to the vowel than the other. It's the same vowel twice in a row. So other has a stress schwa at the beginning. So trying to thinking about it as the, you will notice that there's a little bit of a glide when I go from the E to the other. If you don't naturally do that, that's a way to connect them. You don't have to intentionally put that glide in there with a lot of strength. I don't want the other, but moving from that E shape to the shape, the other, I end up with this glide, which I can write with a Y. So trying that, the other, may help you with that combination. And then going to the other one, the other ones, just remembering that one or ones is the same, that there's a W sound. So you're going from the to the W, other ones. The other people. I'm not really going to glide or connect so much between those two, because ones or people, it's going to be the stressed word in the phrase. The other is going to be the faster part that I go through more smoothly. So yes, we have a comment that diphthong sounds are difficult. So diphthongs, yes, definitely gliding between the two positions can be challenging. Give yourself time. And what I'll say is, for example, if I have diphthong A, You might find it easier to do those in words like day and say rather than in words like name or change. So practicing day, where you have time to hold it longer, is going to help you. Then when you go to try to put it in a word like name, you can either even take the first part of name, take the M off, just try nay, name. That may help you for diphthongs in general. Also matching. So I can say your name and try to keep the vowel the same. Great. Dana wants to know about if pronouncing regularly, like regularly, sounds wrong if you say it fast. For example, I frequent that place regularly. Yeah, regularly is tough to say because it has regularly. This lurly part is really where it's tough. And so she's asking if she can say regularly. I do think you might hear native speakers say that regularly. Regularly. It does sound a little incorrect to me. Regularly. I'm going to try to just say it naturally in some phrases. In our regularly scheduled programming, we meet regularly. Regularly. Yeah, I think you can get away with it a little bit more with regularly. If you have to, you could use it. I would say people may hear that. If you're hearing a lot of people around you using it, then I would say I would be more comfortable in saying, yeah, that's the way people are using it because it's tough even for native speakers to say. But it's not one that I would say would go by unnoticed. I do think people might be able to hear that difference. Great. Okay. So nice to see everyone here today. I'm going to take one last question and then we're going to wrap up, which was a quick one for beet. And the answer is no difference. They both have the tense E sound. We beat the other team and I ate a beet from the field. Yeah, same. So EE and EA are the two most common spellings for the E sound. All right. Thank you so much for being here today. It was lovely to see all of you. I'll be back again tomorrow with our Word of the Day class, and Friday we'll have our live question and answer class like today, where you can come ask questions about pronunciation, whatever will help you improve your overall communication in American English. Do check out the free lessons as well as our free online courses and some of our paid courses on speechmodification.com, and consider joining the channel if you'd like to have some extra perks like our Sounds Challenge and our live classes for channel members that happen on Sundays. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. See you soon.